you've always had is the stability of the currency. Inflation is looking, prices of goods. How's the situation currently?
Yeah, good morning once more. Thank you for having me. Yes, as a group having a stake in the economy, definitely you know that we will always have some concerns as far as the microeconomic indices are concerned. But we can all attest to the fact that if you look at the current microeconomic indices that we are enjoying, we can all say that they are all pointing to a very positive direction. If we want to take a look at the exchange rate is hovering about 11 cedis, 20 pesos, 30 pesos as interbank to the cedi. If you go to the Forex Bureau, about 12 cedis, 10 pesos, 20 pesos to the cedi. If we want to talk about the policy rate is currently at 14%. We know that the Monetary Policy Committee will be, I think, sitting any moment from now, and we don't know whether it will be maintained or it will go down or it will go up. But looking at where it is, in reference to the Ghana reference rate, which is the basis that the commercial banks use as far as lending is concerned, it's also below 11%, which I think is also in a very positive direction. Inflation is also about 5.3, which is also good because it's quite a long time that we had a single-digit inflation. So looking at all the macroeconomic indices, we can all attest to the fact that government has performed well and it is good for the economy.
So is it all rosy, or there are still some challenges you like this budget to address for you?
There are some issues that we think if government also address it to go along with, in helping those that are in the commerce. And one of our expectations has to do with the duty regime. It is true that because of the stability of the currency that we are enjoying, there has been some windfall as far as duty regime is concerned, because they use the dollar as the basis, for calculating the duties, and then it's being converted into cedis for us to pay. But we think government, must do more in terms of the duty regime that is currently prevailing. Because in the run-up to the elections, we had the opportunity of meeting His Excellency, the President, when he was a candidate then. And when we show him the Bill of Entry is where all the levies and taxes and the duties that you are supposed to pay at the port, are listed on. And it counts to about 21 or 22 levies and taxes that we are supposed to pay. So when we show it to him, he even exclaimed and said, "Hey, this is what you people are contended with." And we told him, "Yes, His Excellency, this is what we are contended with." And he gave us an assurance that by God's grace, when he assumes power, he will see what he can do, by pruning down, some of the levies and taxes that we are paying. And at that, he used a term called rationalization. He said when he comes, he will rationalize the duty regime so that at least we can also have some reprieve. So we were expecting that once they assume power, they will do something about it. Fine, irrespective of the fact that we have a stability, as I've told you already. But they haven't done anything about the duty regime And you can all attest to the fact that recently a publican AI has also been introduced to the port, which they are now using, as a valuation to calculate the duty. So we approached Ministry of Finance, and then they told us that before they can rationalize, the duty regime for us, they also have to put in some measures that will also improve, government revenue as far as duties are concerned. And that is the reason why, they brought in this publican AI. So this publican AI is raking in a lot of, money as far as duties are concerned. So we think it's about time that they also have a look at the duty rationalization. And in this media budget, we expect the finance minister to make some pronouncements as far as the duty regime are concerned. Then another expectation that we are looking up to has to do with the 24-hour economy. We all know that with the passage of the law, the 24-hour economy is supposed to come into full operation. We have seen recently that they are cutting some stores for some construction of some markets as far as the 24-hour economy is concerned. At Guta'S, we don't want to remain at the retail space alone. Some of our members also want to migrate from doing the buying and selling to manufacturing. And so we have had some engagement with the Office of the 24-Hour Economy, have presented some proposals to them in the way of asking government, to assist us to put up some manufacturing assemblies to be able to at least go into some small, manufacturing to, help in the government's industrialization agenda. So we are looking in this media budget, the kind of support that government, could offer to Guta'S, so that we could also go into the manufacturing space, to help government in the industrialization agenda. Our last expectation has to do with the women's banking. We know that at Guta'S we have a lot of our women that are engaged in trading, and we all need, support by way of securing some facility at a very good rate, to inject it into our business. And so I think it's about time that we see the operationalization of the Women's Bank, so that our women, as I've told you, can be able to, source some funds to inject it into their business. So we want to see the modalities that they have put in place that will lead to the operationalization as soon as possible of the Women's Bank, in order for our women, to go in for some facilities at a very minimum interest rate. So basically, these are some of our expectations that we think if the minister touch on them, it will go a long way to help Guta'S.
And I'll ask a question on the duty regime back there. Are you suggesting that the duties are still too high, or it is the way in which they are implemented? What's the problem really?
Yeah, what I'm saying is, with the implementation of the publican, the duties, have gone up.
Okay.
The duties have gone up. So we think, as they promise us to rationalize the whole duty regime, it's about time they stick to that promise to rationalize it, so that at least we can also have a little bit of reprieve, which will then reflect on the goods and services that we are also offering.
But government has always insisted that the publican regime, the publican software is meant to ensure that the correct duties are paid for the goods when they come in. So how can it be paying higher?
Well, that is what it's supposed to be. But as a result of that, like I'm telling you, what we are paying, compared previously, it's on the higher side. You understand? It's on the higher side because it's a valuation tool that they are using, and it always picks the highest value. You understand?
Okay.
If you submit, you bring in your goods and you submit your invoices to the customs for valuation. The publican tool will not accept whatever invoices that you have submitted to the customs. The publican tool goes on a shopping spree and then always come out with the highest value, which will then be applied to whatever goods that you brought for you to pay. And we think it is on the higher side, even though there is a room for appeal that you can make an appeal for it, to be looked at. But even if you make the appeal and your appeal is upheld, it will come down a bit for you. But we think still the rationalization that they are talking about, that should be done. You understand? So that the importing community at least could also have some relief.
Mr. Boateng, thank you. Thank you very much for speaking to us.
Thank you for having me.
So 3 concerns he's highlighted. The duty regime, says the publican regime, the publican software has led to a situation where they pay very high duties. He's also talking about the 24-hour economy. They want some clarity as to where we are in terms of putting in a regime that ensures that a 24-hour economy is possible. Then the Women's Bank, of course, you understand, it's cheap credit. One of the Ghanaian businessmen's difficulty, and this is one of their biggest challenge, is getting credit that is cheap and advances the interest of the businessman. So if perhaps we had a cheap credit regime, it may lead to lower prices too, because the businessman will not be